Okay, Steve Bruce basically said he couldn't be arsed playing Arsenal in the FA Cup because I don't think he likes the ring road. He doesn't like the traffic. He doesn't like having to play football matches that outside of the ones that he thinks he can win. And then what happened? The obvious, they drew 0-0 with Arsenal. They went to a replay and he then said replays should be scrapped. Ped, do you agree? Should FA Cup and should Cup replays in general be sacked off in favour of extra time and pens?
Probably yes. I mean, and I believe there's talk of this.
Right here, right now. In fact.
No, but I believe there's talk of it at the higher echelons of football.
Yeah.
Right here, right
now.
Where
mascot raping isn't discussed. But I think they probably should now.
Customers. Carry on.
It's just that. I think we've come to that point now where there's just so much football, and
it's too much.
I think they would have to be things put in place though for obviously smaller teams, whether that be seeding in the early rounds to make sure smaller teams got big teams, maybe a home as well. The money split would be different, but yeah, I think.
Does that not devalue the FA Cup? Because the FA Cup is the only pure cup competition in football. You know, the fact that it comes through the grassroots, anyone can play anyone.
The thing about it is, though, just very quickly, is that they always say the team gets one chance. And it doesn't really matter whether it's home or away. They only really get one chance. Even if they get teams back at their ground, they usually get beat. So it does devalue it, but it's been devalued so much that...
What's a bit more?
A bit more would just make it an even.
But I think the replays are what are now devaluing it a bit. The biggest problem is, of course, the finance, because for that club looking for a replay, that helps them maybe survive or plan for another year or whatever. But, you know, I know myself now with FA Cup games, the replay thing does... If it was knockout, you're more likely to watch. Even at 0-0, you're more likely to stay tuned for the whole thing. You're more likely to keep there. Where the replays just... I think everyone just seems a bit...
Is it hard?
Saturation
I think
point.
the problem with it coming from someone like Steve Bruce. Now, if that comes from another Championship club, if that comes from I genuinely don't watch the Championship. I've got no idea.
Like a Preston kind of like.
If that comes from a Preston or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's fine. Or it comes from a League One or a League Two, but. Steve Bruce, Hull, they're financially sound, aren't they? They spend money on big name players. He's got some really good players. They're not living hand to mouth as a football club. So I think, you know, it's all well and good him going, I can't be arsed with replays. Whereas there's a lot of football clubs that would be absolutely buzzing their heads off to play 2 games against Arsenal.
But then you're going about the football, the purity of it and all that. Then that we're talking about the fight. We're not on about the football's better for it. You're just going, well, they get more money. That's not the point of a
that's the sad part, isn't it? And that's what you're thinking of all the time. I don't know, maybe they could, if a team got, if a lower team got a team into extra time, they get more money.
But what about ours? You know, if a team is that pissed off with it, like City, okay, well, we'll donate all of our money to you so we don't have to do a replay. Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not a good idea, but if that, you know...
Yeah, if we got into that mindset, we could solve all of football's problems, couldn't we? Like?
Yeah. I think my issue with it is, like Ped's touched on earlier, we don't have a winter break in this country. So, and we also jam all the games into December as well.
January's actually got more games than
January on top of it. We play too much football in this country compared to the European clubs, and that concerns me.
You won't have to worry about that next
Yeah. And that concerns me for
more teams in the Championship.
And that concerns me for like footballers in general. So I think have replays if you've got a winter break. Go ahead, have the replays sound. If you don't have a winter break, just keep it to 90 plus extra time penalties.
Problem is, if you have a winter break and
you haven't got time for it.
Yeah, you play it.
The thing is, though, we don't have replays in the semi and we don't have replays in the final. Yeah. So it's already sort of out of kilter there, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess they're paving the way. I think if there's any competition that needs to be changed, that's doing it more than anything, that's the League Cup. People go about replays. Having two like the 2 leg semi-finals thing.
Yeah,
I had a great idea a couple of years ago about the League Cup about bringing it into having group stages. But I worked it all out, and you had less games.
Okay.
If you financially it would have worked a lot better.
That sounds like utter bollocks.
No, it was like you played a couple of rounds and then you went into a group stage. So if you got through anyway, it did work out.
Maybe if you go in at the first round or whatever, you just go in every season. Second round, is it? First?
I think the League Cup tends to be more interesting than the FA Cup, if I'm honest. I think the recent matches, the recent seasons, there's been some great games, and because it's the first part of the season, don't know, the FA Cup just seems to be a bit of a dwindling.
I think it's one of them, isn't it? I think it's whether the FA Cup needs to catch up, because you're right, because there was once upon a time they used to replay finals. You know, I think in fact it's only the 90s, isn't it? When you think, was it Man United Palace? That's the day. Was that the semi-final? Where the one with the Ian Wright, in fact it would have been the final, wouldn't it? Because Liverpool played Palace in the semis. But you know, you had to replay all of those things. And imagine now if you had to replay a Wembley final. Imagine the uproar from fans and having to go and do that kind of twice. So you're right. It's not as though precedent hasn't been set on the way. I just think the problem is it feels a bit overprivileged at times when you hear people complain about it, because it'd be like us going, Liverpool have literally played every minute of football prior to this weekend just gone. You know, every minute of football they could have played, they've literally played, apart from like the penalties in the last round of the FA Cup. Would have been nice to have a little bit less football, but you think, well, hang on, fuck off. You get to watch your team play a game of football. If you're playing more games, it generally means you're doing quite well as a football team, you know what I mean? So
even the Man City thing, you know, resting it before a Wednesday game, and I know that's their priority, but you know, it's Wednesday from Sunday. And like the same Barca played Saturday to Tuesday, there's no problem there.
Do you reckon having no replays would mean that teams took those one-off games more seriously?
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know, if you're going to rest players, you're going to rest players. I think it balanced itself. Listen, look at the tournament this year, the FA Cup. There wasn't many teams that came past the fourth round who were below than the Championship. So I think it's already having an effect. I think we're getting that. The quality is very much at the top now. So I think this change wouldn't make any difference. It is basically down to cash at the end of the day. If they could work out a way to financially compensate those teams and not get a replay, as I say, whether they get more money if they play away, or whether they guarantee the home fixture if it's like the third round, or whether they take a team into extra time and they get a little bit of a bonus from the FA. I don't think those teams would be too bothered about not getting the replay. It is just the cash at the end of the day.
The biggest thing is the TV money, though, isn't it, with the replay? And you can't really get that money unless it's coming from the TV company. So to make up for it, it's got.
But I think the TV companies will compensate them anyway, because if it's a one-off game, it's going to be more exciting. And if you, how many times have you been not watching the FA Cup game and you might be it's gone to pens, bang, I'm on it straight away. You know what I mean? If you can find it, like find what channel it's on, you're on it straight away. It might never interest you whatsoever, but if there's pens, you're on it straight away. So
that's a good point. Show of hands then. Replays, should they be scrapped? Yes, hands up.
I'll scrap them.
Go on, I'll scrap them. I'll put 2 hands up. I'm not like a little baby Deadpool one either.
Yeah, no, I'll back it up. Yeah, so there you go.
Your manager didn't even know there was replays, so, you know. What is this?
He's doing the pen list, they're going, boss, what for next week? He's like, no, for now. Fine. Yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Should replays in the Cups be scrapped? And if you believe yes or no, give us a little bit of a reasoning as well, and that'd be lovely. Still to come.
Thanks.
This week we stick with the FA Cup theme. We're going to be asking the big questions. Can Everton and West Ham win the FA Cup? And has Pep Guardiola already ruined Manchester City? Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you there.